If you follow that structure of military pyramid, whoever is the president and commander-in-chief, you have already, given him a few number of top quality officers where he can make his choice. Like I said, a situation where a president comes and he has 350 major generals to pick, you have not helped him. So I think the problem is not made by the president himself, because again, like I said, the president, in fact, if you look at the literal meaning of section 217 on the appointment of service chiefs, as it is now, the president can even pick a colonel and say, this is my service chief, because his hand is not tied. He picks whoever he wants. But the military as an institution, with the strict supervision of the Ministry of Defense, should be able to follow this filtering process so that only the best become general. Of course, everybody who enters the military wants to become a general, but when you follow global best practices, you have to filter. Now that filter has not been working. That is the honest truth. For those of us that study these things, I think as far back as 2012, we noticed this tendency of promoting too many generals. Well, I know times are not like when I joined the military, but I remember in 1984 when I joined the military in Kaduna, you can hardly see, even as a military officer, you can hardly see a brigadier around. Hardly you can see a brigadier. But what do we have now? We have too many generals. And we have to listen to our elders. General Ishola Williams, as late back as 2020, he gave this warning that we are having too many generals and too few troops. So in the long run, it's the country that loses. Also, the officers that we are told to go, because again, we have another complication of what you call the harmonized terms and condition of service. What the harmonized terms and condition of service says is that it guarantees every officer a period of service for 35 years or 60 years of age. If you look at the officers that are left, they're all my juniors. I think the highest will be in their middle 50s. So the issue is that when you continue doing this, people will leave not really unprepared, but what the military promised them, they are not going to attain it. So it's a lose-lose situation for everybody. You lose a vibrant young man, they go home unprepared, and then you have a bloated military structure. What does a bloated military structure does? It costs a lot of money. Let's be honest with ourselves. There is no money you can pay a soldier for risking his life. Whatever you give a general after serving 35, 30 years, he is worth it, because they go to the bush and stay awake while other people are sleeping. However, in order to be fair to the taxpayer, you should be able to produce only generals that are necessary to carry out the job. You don't just give general rank just because you want to favor somebody. Another issue I want the government to look at: what is this desperation about people being major general? It started recently. If you look at the salary structure of the services, as is usual, a lieutenant will earn higher than a second lieutenant, captain will higher than a lieutenant, and so on and so forth. But the gap is proportionate between this rank until you reach brigadier and major general and equivalent. There, the gap is almost about 3 times. So what does that? There's nobody who doesn't like money. There's nobody who doesn't like allowances. So what we have now is pressure being mounted on the services. A service knows that it needs only 50 major generals, but pressure from senators, pressure from traditional rulers, pressure from the chief's wife, pressure from everywhere. The chief, knowing that I need only 50 major generals, will end up promoting 100 major generals. In the long run, who loses? It's national interest that is affected, because apart from losing money, when you have too many generals, now we have generals, with due respect, that are doing actual work of colonels. That is what we have. And it's because you have so, in fact, there are some that if they don't go to work for 1 week, nobody will even look for them, because they don't even have any specific work to do. But they are there to collect their salary and collect their allowance.